Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about Ghost Stories, which was Rick's choice, actually.
Yes,
for a variety of reasons. But before all that, we were actually talking about the true reason why it got dubbed the way it did, because that's the specific one we watched. We watched the English dub. And then we got on another talk about Saucy Nugs, because why not? Got nothing better to talk about than the backstory of Ghost Stories and Saucy Nugs, baby. If you want to catch up on that wider conversation, you can go to patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $1 a month to gain you access to that bonus content. Or you can also join us live, where we will be able to talk to you, interact with you and everything like that. And then you get to talk to us and poke at us and heckle us and talk all kinds of trash to us and everything else, and as well as have a general great time. If you want to support us through other means, though, other than joining us live on twitch.tv/featured anime podcast or on YouTube, you can also buy yourself some swanky swag at shop.featuredanimepodcast.com. Or if you want to get yourself some nice, delicious, tasty treats, use our affiliate link for Tokyo Treats and use coupon code FeaturedAnime and get $5 off that first box. And now onto the meat and brotatoes. All right. So Ghost Stories is 20 episodes long, aired from October 2000 to March 2001. The producers for it are Aniplex and Fuji TV. Studio for it is Periot. It's based off of books, off novels. It's horror, mystery, supernatural, and in America, it is a comedy as well. That's for the first 19 episodes, and then episode 20, or the 20th episode, came out in August 2001. Same producers, same genres, everything like that. So to kind of give you all a recap, episodes 1 through 18 and episode 20 came out in October 2000 through March 2001. And then episode 19, in terms of Crunchyroll speakage, came out in August 2001. And the reason why this is because it was actually popular in Japan, popular so much so that they came out with another episode after the fact, and the original second episode was cut. So though that was actually never aired, it was never shown, we never got to see it. At least we never got to see it. There are clips of the actual next time airing on there for it, after episode 1 for it, but we actually never got to see it. In terms of what the story is about, basically years ago, our main character's mother, Satsuki, sealed away or put to sleep all these demons, ghosts, what have you. And 15, 20 years later, the ghosts are being released, and Satsuki is now going around basically following in her mother's footsteps and re-sealing away all these demons or ghosts. Now she's accompanied by Hajime, her little brother, Kat, and a couple of other male protagonists, Hajime and Leo, who are there helping her go through the whole process, as well as seal all the demons. Now, that is the general basis and premise of the story. However, if you listen to the English dub that was released here in the US, a majority of the script was ad-libbed, and most of it is just them ragging on each other or talking trash throughout the whole thing. So keep in mind, if you are easily offended, this is not the show for you by any stretch of the word. This is like, if you are easily offended by jokes, regardless of party affiliation, because they rag on both political parties here, major political parties here in the US, they rag on ideologies, beliefs, religions, everything. They just rag on everything that they possibly can throughout this. And it's a wonder that they that they got away with it.
Yeah, seriously though. Now, the best part about this show, in my mind, is the fact that it doesn't hold it back any punches whatsoever to anyone. Like they don't favor anybody. If they thought it was funny, it was said, and if it was said, I don't know that they did any second takes. So
yeah,
no, it was good. I liked it.
From what I understand, I don't believe there were any second takes. In fact, a couple of them had said that they had wished they had gone into more detail or certain or they went with a different direction in general for the dialogue. But yeah, the fact that is the voice actors have stated that they are or that they have gone into the studios, set the mood for the day, and that was the premise of it. So take Momoko, for example. Instead of her being a religious sex drug addict recovery who's recovered from being a sex addict and junkie to a religious fanatic in the anime series, the original anime series, she was psychic.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah. Right. It's like, it's a vastly different change, right? From how you actually think it is. Now
it makes me think that there's a lot of the verbal language that goes through, and there's a lot of nuance that is lost on everyone, because she's definitely not a psychic in any way, shape, or form, but the dialogue fits so hilariously well.
Well, I mean, like, you have to be able to be pretty good about doing that, right? Yeah, for the ad-libbing.
Yeah, well, there's even some instances where they broke the fourth wall. The third wall is what they call it. They didn't call it the fourth wall. They broke the third wall, where they're talking to the audience about, oh my goodness, this is the fastest I've ever had to lip sync before, and I hope this comes out right. This is super fast. What am I going to do? What's the next thing I'm supposed to say?
No. I know the scene you're talking about, but it wasn't even remotely that much. He goes, what the heck is going on in the scene? This is the fastest I've ever had to lip sync. And then that's it, because that's all he could fit in there during that entire scene. And you don't know what he's actually saying. And
I'd like to think that it's his personal belief.
And what's even better is, did you watch this with like the closed captions on at all?
No, I didn't even know if that was an option.
Oh, it was an option, but man, it's like how it was for the dubs, for the captions on Crunchyroll. You have no idea what the hell's really being said. There's so much stuff just like randomly. You literally, while they're saying something, the captions are just changing the spelling, or the names are changing in the captions and everything like that. No. Randomly throwing R in there everywhere. It's just like ARER. And it's just, they just did so much to the captions too. And you don't even know if anyone, like, if there's a break in who's speaking. So if you're deaf and you're watching this, you are ruined, because it's like, they put it in line and they'll separate the dialogues with like a comma and just have it be an entire run-on sentence for 3 people. like it is. Goodness. Yeah, it is.
That sounds delectable.
It was ridiculous, is what it was. I felt so bad for the people. It's like, man, if you can't hear, like, legit, if you can't hear, that this anime wouldn't be for them. I mean, like, obviously they wouldn't be, they can't hear us say it, but hopefully they have a friend who can hear and they listen to us, and we're going to let them know. Don't let them watch this. Stay away.
It's so funny, but stay away.
Stay away. At least have them stay away. They're not going to be able to follow what's going on, because the names constantly change how they're spelled, and they don't match up with what actually is being said sometimes.
Often, I'd imagine.
So yeah, the series was funny. Like, hand down, it was a funny series. Like, I enjoyed it. It was hilarious. There's no getting around it. But
well, given the fact that there's such gore going on, and death, quite often a fair amount of death in every episode.
Yeah,
I'm amazed that changing the dialogue, making it funny that way, turned it from essentially a Brothers Grimm in Japan to a stark comedy here. Because, I mean, like, to give you an idea, Brothers Grimm has many, many rough endings. And when they're translated to Disney, let's call it, they're beautified, they're wonderful, they're happy endings. Whereas the original stories were dark and not, by any stretch of the imagination, happy. Here, they take a rather dark scenario of drawing one from the hat. Let's say from the earlier shows, someone who's going to chop off their feet. Like he uses the ghost uses a scythe because they wanted to run or something like that, and he takes feet from the ankle down. That's a scary, scary thing. But in this show, it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, and
absolutely hilarious.
Every gore act or everything that was about to happen that was negative, it turned into a comedic moment. Like, take the scene for them in the snow portion of it, right? Mm-hmm. The snow that is the best snow is not the yellow snow. It's like, well, is that really the chant that they used to seal up the ghost? It's like, no, that's not the real chant, but it was for this show. It was for the dubs.
The snow that is the snow that is not the yellow snow is the best snow. Oh goodness.
So, and
awesome. Just sensational.
And then the game that they were playing, because they showed the one video game and they kept saying it was like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, every time Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I actually know what game that was. I actually played that game.
I mean, I know you've played Grand Theft Auto, but what game were they playing?
They were playing Dark Cloud.
Really?
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, oh, I know that game. That's Dark Cloud.
I loved it. The funniest part to me was my mom seems to be playing a game with the TV off. Was she winning? Yeah, surprisingly, really impressive score. I'm not quite sure how she does it. Keep it up. Okay. Not
even that, right? Like, when he first walks in, she goes, "Come here, rub my nipples." It's like, what?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that.
What?
I was not going to say that.
What? Just to give you a taste of the ridiculousness that is there, right? Like,
yeah. And then when she's denied, she says something to the effect, "That's okay. I got my own games to play."
Yeah.
Like, wow. It's going to be that episode, is it?
Oh, yeah. Apparently. So they have things like that are strewn throughout the entire series. There's not a moment in the series where they don't do that, because there's always something kind of going on.
Yeah. There's so many different instances. And the cat. So the very first spook or ghost that they're able to imprison seems to be rather strong and lives off of fear, fights fear, all that stuff. Like, it feeds off of and grows from fear and becomes substantially more powerful. And they're able to seal it into a cat accidentally. And that cat is a menace the entire time. Although, for some reason, likes to save them at the very end. For no other reason than, they're my prey. How dare you? And the entire time he's
a Syndra. That's what he is.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
The way they voiced him. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to help you. You're totally not going to get the help from me. And then
fine. Only because you need me.
Only because I want to. Because I like seeing you squirm. Am I going to do this for you? Sucker.
Yeah. They're like, you could have seen me die here. You could have seen me absolutely blood-curdlingly. We're just going to bypass my attempt to say blood-curdling. No, I'm not. I can't even say it when I'm thinking about it. Even when he's getting what he wants by them dying in a very poor way, they still get saved by him. And he's like, nope. You can live for today. So it's just Tsundere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, for 20, and here's the kind of thing that I kind of want to point out. For 20 episodes, you would think that they would have a streamlined, cohesive story. And honestly, they don't.
No.
You really don't. All you really need to see is episode 1. And then after that, pick an episode to watch it. You don't have to watch them in order. Just pick an episode to watch it.
Yeah.
You can watch
They don't really do callbacks all that much.
No, they don't. And so like take for example, you watch episode 1, watch episode 20 that's on in the order for Crunchyroll. Watch those in those exact spots. As for the other 18, pick one and watch it. Doesn't matter where it's at. You can just watch episode 17, go back to 3, then watch 5 or pick flavor and everything like that. And then once you're done, once you watch those middle 18, watch the last episode and then you're done. Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing. It's like, you know what? I don't feel like watching all of them today. I just want to pick this episode. This episode looks interesting to me. Watch it. That's a great thing and bad thing about this is that they are episodic almost.
Well, one of the things that carry through the entire time is they don't learn anything. Case in point. In one of the earlier episodes, they realized that almost every ghoul or ghost they're able to find is listed in a book. 4 or 5 episodes later, it's remarked, don't you think it's about time to go grab that book and take a look? And they're like, oh, yeah, might as well. But no, the book is locked in my locker all the way across campus. And then literally 2 episodes later, the same thing happens.
It's okay. They even remark for one of the characters even remarks, it's like, oh, look, we have to go back to the old schoolhouse again, like we do every episode for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they pointed out, like, hey, the ridiculousness of these certain actions, these certain moments where they're coming in and they're coming through and doing all that, right? Where they point out all these ridiculous things. It's nice. It's nice to, it's like, okay, cool. They do it or they point it out. But then at the exact same time, some of the lines that they toed on when they're talking, it's just like, was that, I mean, like, I understand you're going for kicks and giggles, but was that really necessary?
Absolutely not. That's the best part of it. There are so many things in there that you're like, you can't say that today. You can't watch that in public today. If somebody overhears you hearing that, even though you're like, it caught me by surprise. You would be incriminated, thrown in jail. Yeah. No, there's a few things in there. I was like, real happy I got headphones. And then my wife is looking over my shoulder. She says, oh, let me hear. So of course I'm like, all right, this is obviously a safe spot. We're good. Nuh-uh. No. Oh dear Lord, no.
Yep. I mean, like, in all honesty, if you can get away with anonymity, you probably would still say this in the show. Like, if you did everything under an alias in the show, if you did it with an alias, didn't have your picture posted, just tweak the audio enough so they couldn't do voice recognition on you. Yeah, you probably, there's a lot of people that would still say it.
There's a lot of people I know that would say it with full disclosure, being like, so what's up?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'm on TV and you're not. What's up?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Yeah, no, it's a good show. It's humorous. And again, if you can sustain yourself from being offended and realize that this anime is purely for jokes, for funny, for non-offensive, offensive. Like, if you could go to a Jimmy Carr stand-up show and walk away realizing that everything he says is a joke, and even the ribs that he does at the people are on purpose, and they're funny, and they're meant to be funny, nothing's to be taken personally, this is the show for you. It is side-splitting at times. Other times you're just waiting for another punchline. That's the only part I didn't like about it. I realized there was so many punchlines coming. I was just waiting for the next one with anticipation. Sometimes for a little longer than I wanted, but the outrageousness did not disappoint. Because every time you start the episode, you start off at 0 again.
True. That is true.
You're not looking for, well, the last episode ended on this one, so they're going to start on something. No, they start at a baseline every episode, and the buildup is hilarious, and the obnoxiousness of what they're saying is just, you're like, did they really? Hold on, I got to rewind that. They did. Wow.
They did multiple times. Multiple times.
Multiple times.
Like I am not ashamed to admit where when they said something and it completely caught me off guard, I was like, wait, whoa. What just happened? And I have to rewind it just to make sure I understood what was said. Like, because it just completely threw me off. And I was like, what's going on? What happened?
Yeah, I could not possibly heard what I just heard.
Yeah, no, apparently I did. I did hear it. That is 100% true. So, unfortunately,
or fortunately, because they were good enough to keep them coming.
True.
To keep them coming with a frequency and a dedication that I haven't seen anywhere. To be perfectly frank, I have not seen this kind of commitment to the absurd ever. Commitment to anything as much as they've committed to the absurd. And the fact that it still has to follow a certain algorithm isn't the right way to say it. A certain format. Like as you were saying before, the people who sold it said, hey, at the very least, these are your must-haves in every episode. And they followed through and they got their must-haves in every episode. And they were still absolutely great. Well,
it's questionably. I mean, like, it depends on it just depends on your interpretation of it, right? It's like, and that's probably what they went back to Studio Period with, was because we're talking about ADV's interpretation of what they were told, and they were like, well, they were vague enough for us, so we're gonna do this.
Yeah, I don't know if I could be that creative. To be perfectly, to be aware of my own limitations. I don't know that I would have been as creative, as unoffensively offensive. Because, like, yeah, there's some areas where you're like, wow, that cannot be said out loud today.
Yeah.
And then there are other areas where you're like, the audacity to be able to do this. And the fact is, to me, I understand why it's such a classic, a cult classic. It has a cult following of dedicated fans who are like, this is the best show ever. They did everything right. And while I don't agree they did not do everything right, they did enough right that I'd be willing to watch it again. In fact, I am rewatching it with my wife.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah. And then I was playing it for my coworker, and I'm like, you don't have to watch it. You just got to listen. It's a gourmet of the ears. Yes. And he took the phone from me. And he's like, I got to see what this is looking like, because the imagery in my brain is not flattering at all. And then I show him, and he goes, this doesn't match anything of what I was hearing at all. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the show.
Yeah. I mean, but hey, as long as you enjoy watching it, I mean, like, that's all that really matters.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, I don't have too much more to say. I mean, this show, while it was 20 episodes, you would think it would be very deep in substance. Honestly, it's really not. It's just pure, unadulterated, dark, offensive comedy is what it is. Yeah. And that's it. It's
dark humor joy.
Right. Joy is not the word I would use for everyone. This, again, I mean, like, because comedy is purely subjective, right? So in this case, I mean, like, you may find this funny. You may watch the first couple episodes and go, no, and that's it, and just dip out and just leave. You may not want to watch this again. So, I mean, like, that is the kind of the catch, I
mean, the good news is you'll find out if it's your
cup of tea,
your taste, real fast,
real quick. All right. I got nothing else to say on this, or what about you?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So on a scale of up to 10, how would you rate this, sir?
For me, this gets a solid 8. This gets a solid 8 simply for the fact that I went in knowing what I was going for, what I was hoping for, and they surpassed every metric I was thinking of. Because I was told that it's a dark humor. I was told that it was a free-for-all, a gourmet of the senses, if you will. And so I was like, all right, let me take a look at it. And it just, I couldn't stop laughing. Full belly. And the first episode had me rolling literally on the floor, holding my side. And I immediately told my wife that when I'm done with this, we're watching it, because you just can't not. You know, it's just, it's so funny if you have that type of humor. And I hope and I pray that anybody who starts watching this does so with an open mind and with as little prejudice against it as you could possibly gather. Because yeah, if what you find is offensive and you're like, wow, they're really targeting such and such group, I'm not a fan of that, give it 2 minutes. They'll radically shift who they're targeting. Nobody is safe. And that's the best part.
Yeah.
Equal opportunity equal opportunity razzing.
Indeed.
Loved it.
Yeah.
And you?
For me, I'm going to give it a 4.
Ooh.
I'm giving it a 4 because while it was funny, I did not like that there wasn't really a strong storyline for it. If it just felt like it was there for me. The comedy was fun. It was also kind of hit and miss. Some of it was just kind of like, for me. And while other parts of it was funny, but it was very hit and miss. And then especially towards the end, where it just kind of like, it just felt like it was droning on and on about the comedy.
Yeah.
After like episode 15, that's when it started really kind of dragging it down a lot for me. Because at that point, it was like, okay, yes, I get it. Ha 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 ha. You
got tired of it. Well, then we binged it though. Like we did. We watched one episode after the other, so I could see where it would get tiring.
Yeah, but I watched it over the course of a week too, right? It's not like I sat there in one full sitting and watched it.
Oh.
Like
fair. I would want to do 10 hours.
Yeah, I can't do 10 hours.
Well, I'm saying you wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, even if you had the ability to, you wouldn't want to, because you'd get laughed out.
Yeah. So that honestly was that's why I'm giving it a 4. I mean, like, for all those reasons, it was just too much. And not too much, it just got too dull, especially towards the end. And by the last episode, I was like, please, dear God, just wrap this up already. Like I don't think I laughed at all in the last 2 episodes.
Really?
Yeah. I think I zoned out a little bit on like episode 17 a little bit, and I had to restart it because I just kind of like zoned out and started falling asleep on it.
Well, I mean, I guess I could see that.
So that's why I'm going with a 4. Yeah. I mean, it's like, jokes in it, couldn't care less. How offensive they were, couldn't care less. The fact that it just lost its luster and it couldn't keep my attention didn't make me want to continue it all the way through is why I'm giving it a 4.
That's understandable. Yeah, you do suffer a bit of burnout, but I still think it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, to each their own. To each their own. All right. So next week's choice.
Yes.
We are going to watch Campfire Cooking in Another World with my absurd cooking skill. So if you feel like we did too much justice, not enough justice, got everything right, everything wrong, or anything like that, feel free to let us know. If you want to hear the story behind Ghost Stories and hear some information about how it became what it is for the dub portion of it, feel free to go to our Patreon, patreon.com/featured anime podcast. If you want to join us live and hang out with us and chill with us, you can go to Twitch.tv/featured anime podcast. Join us live 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday. And of course, all our links and everything like that is available in our show notes, as well as on featuredanimepodcast.com. And don't forget about Tokyo Treat, our affiliate link, coupon code featured anime. Get yourself some tasty treats. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick, and we'll see you next time.